193,000 babies are born premature in Kenya every year.
In Kenya, there's only a 6% HIV prevalence rate among pregnant women.
In Australia, 6.5% of live-born babies are born underweight.
In Australia, 12% of mothers suffer from gestational diabetes.
In Kenya, each year, 13,300 children under 5 die due to preterm complications.
In Australia, 43% of Indigenous mothers smoked during pregnancy.
Hello, and today we shall be comparing prenatal diagnostics in Kenya and in Australia. First, let's look into some general statistics, such as neonatal mortality rate, number of stillbirths per 1,000 births, and maternal deaths. The neonatal mortality rate in Kenya is quite high, with 22.6 per 1,000 births. In Australia, this goes down to 2.4 per 1,000 births. The number of stillbirths in Kenya is 22 out of 1,000 births, whereas in Australia this is 9.7. And lastly, the number of maternal deaths in Kenya is 400 out of every 1,000 births, whereas in Australia this goes down to less than 1 per 1,000 births. Now let's go further into detail into these prenatal diagnostics. So let's first make a difference between prenatal screening and prenatal diagnostics. Prenatal screening are general tests to ascertain the probability or risks of a problem with the fetus. Prenatal diagnostics are offered if there are problems on the prenatal screening in order to confirm whether there are further actions needed. So firstly, in Australia, the average pregnant woman is offered 8 to 10 appointments if they are healthy and it's their firstborn child. In the first trimester, that's up until the 12th week of pregnancy, tests are offered for blood sickle cell anemia and also tests for ultrasound. Optionally, you may be offered chorionic villus sampling and non-invasive prenatal testing by your doctor. In the second trimester of pregnancy, up until week 26 of pregnancy, you may be offered a maternal serum screening and optionally amniocentesis. In your third trimester, you'll be able to discuss your birth plan with your GP or obstetrician. You may also be offered chorionic villus sampling or amniocentesis if they have discovered anomalies at your screening. Pertussis vaccination and group B streptococcus vaginal swabs are also offered. If you're rhesus negative, you'll be offered an anti-D immunoglobulin injection.
Every mother's joy, newborn babies in Kenya's largest maternity hospital. Many of the families who come here are poor. Every day, 80 to 100 babies are delivered, and the majority of the mothers here cannot afford to pay the bill.
So in Kenya, they focus more on screening testing. With screening testing, they do blood testing, where they test for hemoglobin and for sickle cell anemia. Also, they do urinary tract testing, and they have a mandatory HIV testing. This is because Kenya is on the UN AIDS list of 22 priority countries which have the highest rate of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. So if this HIV testing shows a positive result, the mother will enter a mother-to-child transmission program. So diagnostic testing is also done, just like an ultrasound, a chorionic villus sampling, and an amniocentesis. However, these are mainly done in private hospitals. One of the reasons why there is a big difference between the prenatal care of Kenya and Australia could be that the antenatal care does not include diagnostic testing. Also, only 3% of the population in Kenya actually has a medical insurance, whereas in Australia, everyone is covered by Medicare. Also, 47% of the population chooses to have an additional private health insurance next to their Medicare.
Although birth
It's only one day
in the life of a woman, it has an imprint
on her
for the rest of her life.